Welcome back to the channel. We're fans of something, and in this video we're doing the Huck challenge, and there's going to be a couple things that we're switching around here. We are a Funko channel, we're a movie channel. We're each going to have our own individual lists.
We each have our own individual lists, but we also have our own individual collections of things to show off. We're going to be showing off a little bit of both.
There's going to be a couple in here that I don't have the physical copy for, and so I'm going to pop up just a movie poster or whatever for that particular film.
And I also don't have each pop that I'm gonna list off for the movie, so I'll also put up a little picture.
Alright, so with all of that being said, let's get into the video. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot we don't have a fancy title card. Anyways, let's do it! Starting with the number, ladies first.
28 days later. I love me a good zombie flick, and boy can they run.
So 28 days later, for my number movie, I went back and forth, but I wanted to, if I had a physical copy of a movie I really liked, I wanted to show it off. So I'm going with 2001, A Space Odyssey, from Stanley Kubrick. There's going to be a few Kubricks in my lists.
Moving on to the actual alphabet, I ultimately decided on American Psycho.
American Psycho.
That one has pops, but I don't have them. He does.
Yep. And I used to have the Blu-ray, but I don't have that one. Well, it's funny, we both picked American stuff, with American in the title. I picked American Werewolf in London, the Arrow edition. This is definitely hands down the greatest werewolf movie of all time. It's one of John Landis's best, and at some point I'm going to be doing a live stream with Tony over at Tony's Movies and More. So Tony, reschedule this stinking thing so I can take it out of the plastic.
Okay. Next, for B, I chose the ghost with the most, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. That's been on a few lists.
Oh yeah.
I know Ken over at Mid-Level Media, I think he chose Beetlejuice.
How could you not? How could you not?
Alright, so my B is going to be Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. This is the second collaboration between him and Chris Columbus following Mrs. Doubtfire. And it's a movie a lot of people overlook.
I've never seen it.
But it's one of my all-time favorite Robin Williams. Always gets me to cry, too.
So, for my C, this one, I was really going back and forth. I almost had to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it. But I figured what really connects with me the most would be Corpse Bride.
And I even brought up the, like, are we doing Tim Burton? It is in the title, Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
I went by Letterboxd, and Letterboxd placed it with the C's.
Just okay.
I'm also going to give an honorable mention.
Ooh, is that a cheat?
Try to disqualify me. I dare you, Huck.
Well, that's the interesting thing about this challenge is that, like, I've seen a few people do it, and we've all kind of rewritten how it goes. So.
Well, it makes us all unique.
But the basis of this is the Huck challenge.
Oh,
So,
with that being said, my honorable mention for the letter C is Coraline.
Coraline.
Not a Tim Burton film, as many people like to confuse it as, but an amazing animation nonetheless.
This one was an easy one. Like, there's a few letters when you go through them, and you're like, This one was just like a no-brainer. John Carpenter's Christine. This is my all-time favorite Carpenter flick. I've seen a few of his movies now, and nothing has topped, for me, Christine. I know it's not a popular pick, but there's just something about it, particularly the score. The score is one of my all-time favorites, especially the Show Me track.
For the letter D, I picked Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino.
Django, yep.
Which doesn't have pops, but I would kill to have some.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got Kill Bill, they got The Hateful Eight, so they should definitely bring out some Django.
Come on, Jamie Foxx.
This one is another underrated. There's a few Robin Williams in this stack I'm noticing. This is Death to Smoochie. Does not have a Blu-ray. It's only on DVD currently. This is a black comedy amongst the blackest of comedies. And it is it's a great parody on children's networking television and all that stuff. It came out in the year 2002, which is Robin Williams' best year for film, in my opinion. So, Death to Smoochie, come on, give us a Blu-ray.
The letter E for Edward
A lot of
Scissorhands.
Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, I mean he's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Johnny Depp as
Johnny Depp.
Edward, not this Edward.
All right, on the opposite spectrum of the E is going to be my second Kubrick, Eyes Wide Shut. This is a top 3 Kubrick for me. This is a dreamlike film. It's one of Tom Cruise's best, one of Nicole Kidman's best. It's Kubrick's last movie before he died.
So for my letter F, I narrowed it down to the original or the remake, and I guess my heart fell on the remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
The Fly.
1986.
That has a Funko Pop, right? I think
No.
No? It doesn't have a Funko Pop? Okay.
Should. The Fly.
The Fly. For my F, I'm going with an underrated Jim Carrey film, Fun with Dick and Jane. This is again, it's a remake.
A remake.
So that's interesting that for our Fs we chose remakes and we decided to go with the remake. But yeah, it's a remake of like a 60s film, I think. And it's when you talk about Carrey, you definitely don't talk about Fun with Dick and Jane. So, but I do.
So for G, I ended up going with, and it's funny looking at your stack right now, I almost chose that movie. But I settled on the Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson.
Okay, so that one I haven't seen.
Yeah, you have not. That's
I have
the
not
first
seen
one.
that one.
We made it all the way to G, and you haven't seen.
This is going to be the Paramount Presents edition of Ghost, which is my favorite edition so far of this movie. They got the poster right there, kind of
Beautiful.
folds out.
Beautiful.
And yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. And it's got that nice kind of clear case on it. Anyways, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. This is my number 1 tearjerker in all of life. So, yep. R.I.P. Patrick Swayze, and go watch Ghost if you've never seen Ghost.
Yeah, I don't really cry at a lot of things, but I was like a little baby watching Ghost, not gonna lie. So, moving on from that, another non-horror film. I chose for the letter H, The Help.
Ooh, Emma Stone.
And Viola Davis.
Yep.
I love that movie to death. Funny enough, honorable mention, Hellraiser.
Wow.
I know.
Night and day on that.
Quite literally. Both of them, I mean, I love for different reasons, but in terms of what's really stuck with me, has been The Help.
This is also not horror. This is my all-time favorite movie, and it's the letter H. It's going to be Her with Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson, Rooney Mara, Amy Adams, Olivia Wilde, I think, is in this. Yeah. So this is, and it's from Spike Jonze, the guy who was associated with Jackass. So it blows my mind all the time, and yeah.
For the letter I chose again, I went with the remake, just because it really captured my interest more, was the 2020, I want to say, version of The Invisible Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that
Elizabeth
movie.
Moss.
When we watched that together, I really did love that movie. A different take on the original Universal monsters.
Yeah. I actually looked at that for my eye because I do own The Invisible Man, but I was like, all right, I got to give some love to another movie that doesn't have a Blu-ray, first of all. And second of all, is one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen. I think Boyd showed this to me, my best bud Boyd.
Shout out to Boyd.
Showed me Idiocracy. And this is about, like, a future where America is just insanely dumb. Oh, look, it's got Justin Long.
Moving on. All right, we got ourselves a duplicate. If you don't believe me, I will show you my list. But if you want to pick up yours as well, for the letter J, we both coincidentally chose the Joker. Or Joker, not the Joker.
Yep. Good old Joker.
I love this film.
Second Joaquin Phoenix in my stack.
And speaking of Joker, if you haven't seen our watch along,
Yep. With Dave and
check that
Tony.
out.
Go check it out. So back to you.
back to me. For the letter K, Personally, a movie that I don't think gets a lot of love is Kingpin.
Ooh, yeah, the bowling movie.
With Bill Murray.
Yeah, that one I do need in the collection.
Oh yeah, I keep saying that I love these movies, and of course I love all these movies.
Yeah, it's obvious that we love the movies.
But it's so, like, that's one of the funniest movies to me.
This is, speaking of funny movies, this is one of my all-time top 10 comedies. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. This is from Steve Odekirk, the guy who helped create Ace Ventura. And it's basically, he takes an old Chinese movie from the 60s or something, or 70s, and he dubs over everything and adds in new scenes as well, like the cow right there fighting the cow. And it's hysterical. And then what does he say? Quick, I need gopher chucks. So he makes gopher chucks. My name is Betty.
My letter L being Lady and the Tramp. My all-time favorite 2D animated Disney movie, Lady and the Tramp. You talk about your princesses or, what have you. Lady and the Tramp has my heart.
La La Land. This is my all-time favorite musical. Top 10 favorite movie. And this is a gorgeous steelbook from the fine folks over at Best Buy. May they never ever make a sequel to La La Land, because it is a perfect film that does not need a sequel.
Right. Right.
Yeah, she doesn't like La La Land.
I don't like I was gonna say my number M. My letter M, I went with Stephen King's Misery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good one.
Misery.
That's one I need in the collection.
I'm surprised you still don't.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting.
Waiting.
It is on Hamilton Book. Hopefully no one picks it up now that I'm saying it, but it is on Hamilton Book for like $6. So
the poster alone, is phenomenal. Like, to really encapsulate what the movie's about.
yeah, it's one of my favorite posters. The cabin, whatever that is, with like the big woods behind it. Yeah, this one is one that I don't think you'll ever hear anyone talk about, because it is a movie, but it's a documentary, and I guess you simply have to see this film. So it counts. To me, it counts. It's My Date with Drew, and I'm not saying My Date with Drew, like pulled out. I'm saying My Date with Drew, and now I'm thinking of Borat. Not. It is about a guy who has a big crush on Drew Barrymore's favorite actress, and he wants to take her out on a date. All I'm gonna say is it's a fun, feel-good kind of thing, and if you don't take risks, you'll have a wasted soul, Drew Barrymore. It makes you believe you can do anything in life.
You have some very interesting picks, may I say. All right, so N, I have one in my old noggin.
Okay.
I picked A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Dang it. Good,
Nightmare on Elm
good one.
Street.
Yeah, because I was struggling with the N.
Oh, Fred Krug.
Krugy.
Krugy.
N. Yeah, I'm still struggling with it because I don't have the biggest physical media collection, but I don't have any movies with N. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head, and I'm going to go with a real recent movie, Nope. I will own it when it comes out on physical media, because I really enjoyed that movie, and I want to get Jordan Peele some love in this list, because Get Out wasn't in there, and spoiler, Us isn't on here.
Next is a movie I'm surprised I picked and you didn't. For O, I chose Ord.
Yeah, I thought about it because I do own Old, and I love Old. It's my favorite Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding.
Tired of that joke, but everyone does it, including me. But yeah, Old. Good one.
Old.
Good one.
Yeah. And plus,
saw that in theaters.
A real memorable experience for us in theaters.
Yeah, the projector kept malfunctioning at the same moment, so they would fix it and then start over, and then it would malfunction again.
It was like a DVD that kept skipping, or it was stuck.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Weird.
It was funny.
Instead, I picked my last Robin Williams, and that is going to be his best movie in my opinion, and that's 1 Hour Photo. And look at that cover. Now, this Blu-ray is notorious for not being the greatest Blu-ray in terms of picture quality, but it is the only edition currently of 1 Hour Photo on Blu-ray. Hopefully we get maybe an updated restoration. But man, you talk about an actor, like I said, 2002, Death to Smoochie, Insomnia, 1 Hour Photo. Robin Williams killed it that year. And if you think you've seen Robin Williams,
Like you've never seen him before.
go watch 1 Hour Photo, and you're gonna be completely 180'd by this
That's
guy.
Mrs. Doubtfire? Ooh, chills.
Yep.
Okay, for P, I chose this movie by an actor that I just recently started to love, and I'm in love with this movie, and I want the pops more than anything, is Pan's Labyrinth. A movie that I want you to see, but he's so, with subtitles, because it is in Spanish, but it is a marvelous movie, great character design, great story. It is, it's just a different kind of horror. And for you?
For me, I chose one of my favorite horror franchises, and I chose the one that started it all, even though it's not my favorite. I do own my favorite. But I chose The Purge, and I'm talking about the Purge series. Favorite is Anarchy, that's the second film, but yeah, I mean, The Purge is still a really good movie. And like I said, one of my favorite horror franchises that nobody talks about that much because I think a lot of people don't like these movies.
And following the trend of horror again, for Q, I chose A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Which, if I recall, you're not the biggest fan of.
Nope, not the biggest fan.
I thought it was incredibly unique.
This one is a found footage movie that is incredibly unnerving, and it's insane. It's Quarantine. It's the remake of Wreck, so I don't ever want to see the original.
Oh, I love the original.
Well, I love the remake.
The original is terrifying.
No, this is terrifying. From my understanding, they're very, very similar.
I guess it all comes down to the acting.
It is scary as hell. I remember watching this and being, especially being a germaphobe. Oof.
All right. For R, I chose, and God, I wish I had these pops, but they go for a pretty penny. My favorite thing of all time, or musical, I think, of all time.
Oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, you knew.
Yeah.
I do have the record, though. So if you haven't seen my record collection video, check that one out, too.
Rocky Horror over to Robocop. Did they come out in the 80s, both of them?
77.
Okay, so this is 80.
Or 79.
7? This is 87? It's 87, yeah, this is 87. Robocop. Got another arrow in here. Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me.
I wanted to see this movie. I just haven't. Alright, so for S, I was saying before we started recording that this was the hardest letter for me.
Oh, this was the easiest for me.
Oh, I know that. But there's just so many of my favorite movies, and especially pinning two of my favorite horror movies of all time against each other, I chose, and this might shock you, what do you think?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Guillermo del Toro presents.
I haven't even seen that movie.
I just thought you were going to choose something with Guillermo del Toro.
I chose Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, you got the pop.
Yes. I have...
Boom shakalaka boom. You have him with what's that, a nuzzle?
It's like a muzzle.
Muzzle, that's it. And then you got him...
like in almost prison. But I figured you would have been surprised that I chose that over Saw. But I chose Silence of the Lambs because I think objectively it's definitely the better movie. Going to your favorite.
Going over to another horror film, The Shining, my third Kubrick and last Kubrick. This is my all-time favorite horror film. Don't have much to say about this that you haven't already heard, so yeah, it's The Shining.
For T, I think this one's a little obvious, but for T, I picked They Live.
Oh yeah. They live.
Laren, I hope you're happy. Because it is a John Carpenter film.
Yeah.
And my favorite of his.
So for my T, this is going to surprise some people because I have yet to have him on here. He's my favorite filmmaker of all time. And I'm not choosing the movie that most people would think I would choose of his filmography, but I'm choosing Titanic from Mr. James Cameron. This is, I think, his best film, and Terminator is my favorite of his, but
yeah.
I think his best is Titanic. I do have the Blu-ray, but I don't like how that cover looks. I much prefer the kind of fold out here where you get Jack and Rose.
That's kind of crazy that you're not picking Terminator.
Right there, yeah, absolutely. It kind of even shocked me. But Titanic all the way, it's, yeah, like I said, I think it's his best film. Titanic.
Wow, I'm shocked. And one on down to the last few letters for you, I chose Up.
Up.
Up. And
Rolled up.
I would pull out the pop that I gave you of Carl and Ellie doing the handprints on the mailbox, but I don't have it at my disposal.
Yep.
But yes, I love that movie.
M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable.
Oh, and Up was also your favorite Pixar movie until Soul came around.
Yep. And if I had Soul, I would put it for my S. But I think The Shining is well deserved here.
Oh.
But Unbreakable. This was my favorite M. Night Shyamalan until Old came along. And yeah, this is the recent release with that really nice slip.
So for V, next, I was actually kind of debating the movie that you had here, but I really went with my gut. And considering I haven't had any Hitchcock films on here, it only felt right to include Vertigo? Yeah, I chose Vertigo with old Jimmy Stewart.
Old Jimmy. Well, they both have Jimmy Stewart. That's the funny part.
Jimmy has become, like, a pretty good actor, like, a loved actor in my books. So I had to pick the movie that I first saw him in.
2 for 2. M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit. A really good found footage movie. It is pretty darn creepy as well.
Yeah.
And the thing I've always loved about this movie is the slipcover. I don't think they have the front here, but if I were to get the slipcover, I love when movie reviewers compare stuff to Psycho and Jaws. So it's like, The Visit will do for grandparents what Jaws did for sharks, or, you know, whatever.
Psycho did for showers.
Yeah. Like, I love those kinds of quotes. So, anyways, The Visit.
W. Wall-E.
Wall-E. Coming to Criterion.
Oh, and I am picking that up 100%. And I'm not a physical media, guru.
Thankfully, it's coming in November when it's the sale.
Ooh.
So 50% off. This one is so exciting because it finally got a freaking Blu-ray release, and that is What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
So for this next one, X, I don't have a single darn thing.
Yeah, well, these last 3 letters are the trickiest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even make up something. I can't put something I haven't watched.
See, this is where I argue, and I guess this is a cheat for me because I do own this movie. I haven't watched it yet. But...
Cheater.
X. It's literally the letter of what we're trying to do here. X. I plan on watching it. I plan on actually really enjoying it.
And if he doesn't?
And if I don't, then whatever. I'm going to go with X because I have it.
I go with nothing.
All right, why?
Why?
No, I'm saying, why did you... Why?
Yesterday.
I want to see that. Yeah, from Danny Boyle.
Yeah, you would love it because of the premise. It's literally like, what if the Beatles just disappeared?
Oh yeah. When I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm hooked. All right, for why, I battled between 2 movies here, but I'm going with my gut, and I'm going with, I don't own it, I don't have it in my collection yet, but I am going with Yes Man, Jim Carrey's 2008 film, I believe. And that is like one of my favorite feel-good movies. Like, I remember watching that movie a lot of times when I was just down in the dumps, and it always made me feel better about everything. So, Yes Man. My honorable mention is Young Frankenstein.
Oh man, I forgot my honorable mention for W.
What is it?
Going back a few letters, I totally forgot.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh? Oh.
No.
Wayne's
World.
World, party time, excellent.
I can't believe I forgot. It's literally a movie I can probably quote the entirety of, but I chose Wally over good old Wayne and Garth. But I could watch this movie any day, and it'll put me instantly in a better mood.
Z.
The finale.
Wrapping it up with Z.
You struggled, but honestly, I knew this one right away. My Z, to round out my list, Zombieland, the original.
But see, I feel like everyone goes Zombieland.
Oh, but come on!
It's because there's not a lot of Z's in the world.
It's not even that, but it's like, Zombieland. Like Bill Murray is my guy.
Yeah.
Bill Murray's my guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has a little small part in it, but he just makes it. And I guess Zombieland's the obvious answer, but it's like, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could have picked Zootopia, the Disney movie.
Forgot about that one, yeah.
But no, it's not Double Tap, the original. Can you even say this on?
Well, I'm just gonna do the abbreviated, like how they release it on home media. One of my all-time, not one of my all-time, a super underrated comedy that nobody talks about that much, mainly because the title is a little. Zack and Miri make a fill in the blank. When they re-released it on home media and stuff, it was just Zack and Miri. So this movie is great. It's kind of like Fun with Dick and Jane. Like, you know, you lose your job, you're in debt, yada yada yada. What do you do to get out of it? Kind of thing. Well, Zack and Miri make a. So there we go, everybody. That's our response to Huck over at Huck's Pop Culture Cafe and his challenge of going through and picking a movie for each letter of the alphabet. Go check out Huck. His stuff's linked down below. Keep being fans of something.